This video is going to cover all of the solutions to a lot of the stuff I passed back to you on Friday. And the first thing I'm going to go over with you is the solutions to the quiz. I really broke this down a lot, so I'm just going to kind of go through the video quickly and just, pause on the points where you can kind of see the work being done. But by all means, guys, pause as you need to and, look at what's going on. So number one, you have to FOIL. That's the polynomial you get. There are no like terms. That's your final answer. And number two, you can square 4h and get 16h squared, and you can square -1 and get +1, and then you can multiply the two terms, 4h and -1, and then double it to get your -h. So that's the answer to number two. You could also just factor it, or you could FOIL it together if you wanted to write it down twice, and you would wind up getting the same answer. In question 3, same idea. You just square c, you square 2, and you get 4, and then you multiply c times 2, and you double it, and you get 4c. And you can also check that by FOILing, get the same answer. Alright, number 4, that was one of the typo problems. You had to put it in parentheses and raise it to the second power. So I'm just going to show you the work with that, and if you do have a question, please ask me next week. You basically just square the -8m and 4, and then you square 4m3n, and that's how you get the first and last terms. And then you multiply the two terms together, and then you double it, and that's how you get the middle term. And number 5, you have to find the volume, so that's length times width times height. So all three of those dimensions are the length, width, and height. You just multiply them together, and you could set it up like this. Because you have the same binomial twice, you can do the shortcut where you just multiply the first and last terms. Or if you need to FOIL the whole thing out, you would get x squared minus 1x plus 1x minus 1, so those two middle terms would cancel out right there. And then just distribute the 5, and you get 5x squared minus 5. Alright, and number 6. The perimeter and area must both be found, and you add up all the sides for the perimeter. You multiply the base times the height for the area. So if you were to add up all the sides, it would look like this. And combine all of the like terms, and you get 6x minus 10. The area, you do base times height, and you would just have to FOIL that together, and then combine your like terms, and there you go. For question 7, you basically have to find the area of the entire large shaded rectangle, and you would do that by multiplying the base times the height and combining your like terms, and you get 7x squared plus 6x minus 1. Then you have to find the area of the white rectangles that are on the inside. So the tall, skinny one is x times 3. And then the wider one is you multiply the 3x plus 1 and the x minus 2. And just FOIL it, and you would get 3x squared minus 5x minus 2. Before subtracting the area of the smaller white rectangles, I added them together, so I could just subtract one polynomial from one polynomial. So when you add the two white regions together, you get this right here. And then when you subtract from 7x squared plus 6x minus 1, you have to be very careful. Sometimes you're subtracting a negative number, like right here, the -2 and the -2. So because you're subtracting a negative, that really means you're adding. And a fair amount of you that made mistakes with this problem made a mistake right there. 7 minus 3 is 4, which a lot of you got. But 6 minus -2, well, that's going to be +8 because you're subtracting a negative. Question 8, you basically had to FOIL and just remember all of your exponent laws as you do that. So basically when you FOIL your firsts, you get f3 times f3, that's f6. You're multiplying the same base, so you add the exponents, and g-2 times g-2 is g-4. So same thing. When you multiply and they have the same base, you add the exponents. So here are the rest of the terms. Just keep in mind, it's all about the exponent laws. When you have the same base, you add the exponents. So that's where all of these terms are coming from. So you have like terms in the middle because they both have an F2 and a G2. And then your final answer is actually when you move the negative exponents to the denominator, because you're not supposed to end the problem with negative exponents. So if you got close to this answer, like if you got this step, that's very good. If you got all of it, very, very good job, and let's move on. All right, number 9, you had to factor this trinomial, and I think I probably meant to have one of the variables have a 3 in it as the exponent, but I guess I forgot. So in any case, when you do factor, you get a -7 and then an x, y, and a z all to the second power. If you got this far, I gave you credit, but technically you have numbers in parentheses that could be added or subtracted. And technically, the 7 is multiplying the entire polynomial, or the entire monomial, so you can do -7 times 7 to get -49. If you got this answer, be very satisfied with yourself because not many people went this far. And for question 10, basically you have to find the area of the entire circle and subtract the area of the smaller circles. So you have to find the radius. I gave you all the diameters, so the radius is half the diameter. And then you have to add up all of those diameters and divide that by 2 to get the radius of the entire circle. So basically use the area formula, 3.14, and then start plugging in the radius. So the first thing I did is put in 8.5, which is the radius of the entire circle, and found that area, and then I will subtract the areas of the smaller circles. So just kind of follow along with the work right there. And put in 4, multiply that, okay. And then subtract from 226 all of those other areas, and you would be left with 135.02. If you got close to that answer, I gave it to you. Lastly, the bonus. The bonus was just a problem where you had to do the A times C factoring method, so 5 times 12, that's 60. And then the factors of 60 that can add to make 19 and multiply to make 60 are 15 and 4. So split 19x into 15x and 4x, and then group and factor out GCFs, and then your answer will be the 5x plus 4, and then the x plus 3. And you know you were doing it correctly because you got the same binomial right there. Alright, so the next part is just going to be screenshots of all of the solutions to the other assignments. I basically went through the way it is ordered in Progress Book, and I put all of those up here. So take out those other assignments, and here you go. Pause the video as you need to just to look through the answers. So here is going to be the classwork 20 on factoring. This was from March 2nd. Looked like this. And here are the solutions. Let me just erase the copies. Okay. Alright, so here are the solutions to that classwork. Pause the video, check them off. If you have any questions next week, please ask. I remember some of you were asking me about question 15, and now you are seeing the answer to it. So if you are not sure why there is no more factoring that could be done, we can talk about that next week. Just ask me about it. Here are the solutions to that mini quiz from Monday. Here's forms A, B, and C. Just take a look at the answers. You can see them all highlighted there. Just filled in all of those parentheses. And then here are the answers to D and E. All right. Here is the classwork from 8-7. I think this was given out at the end of 2 weeks ago or something like that. But it's the one where these box problems didn't print. Yeah, that was last Friday, or 2 Fridays ago. And then those of you that did the extra credit, here is the worked out solutions to the extra credit. So I stamped you on Friday, so check off the answers. You can see them all boxed in. The answers are all boxed in. Definitely pay attention to how number 7B was solved, because you had to go an extra step there. And I suppose if you did not do the extra credit, maybe go to the email that I sent out and just kind of do it and check with this. It'd be some good extra practice. Alright guys, study up. I will see you on Monday, and the mini quiz will be on Tuesday. Alright, see you later.